For a lot of people, 2021 was a return to the movie theaters to see new films being released into theaters. I saw quite a few myself. What were my 10 favorite films of 2021? Hey everybody, what's up? It's Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm coming at you tonight to give you my top 10 films of 2021. Now, I know a lot of people do these lists in December or beginning of January. I've looked at the release slate of movies coming, and there really isn't another movie that I am at all hyped about seeing that I think could make it into this list aside from Spider-Man No Way Home. So maybe I wait to do that, but I thought, you know what? It goes without saying that I'll put this up in my letterbox and on my social media once that movie comes out, where it lands for me. But I've seen enough this year to have a pretty solid 1 to 10. And I want to give you guys my top 10 films of 2021. And without further ado, coming in at number 10 is going to be Fear Street 1994. Now, I know this is not popular. I know it's not, in the sense that most people's favorite is Fear Street 1978, Part 2. Don't get me wrong, Part 2 is really awesome as well. Also, spoiler alert, I haven't seen Part 3. I know. I have not seen 1666. I still need to watch it. But anyway, 1994 was my favorite one. At first, I thought 78 was my favorite one after I'd watched them both one time. But as I've had time to marinate on them, I just think that 94 has a little bit more nostalgia for me because it's literally the year I was born. And I just remember the 90s vaguely, being a little kid. And it was cool. It was cool to kind of transport me back into that time. Now, I think that 78 does better with the nostalgia of the time period. But having said that, I think 1994 really captured a nice Scream feel while also having a supernatural element to the story that was obviously expanded upon in the later movies. And there was just some great kills, some good acting, some great camaraderie between, our main characters. And overall, I just really enjoyed it. I mean, the bread slicer scene just absolutely sent me. So yes, coming in at number 10 is Fear Street, 1994. Coming in at number 9 is going to be A Quiet Place Part 2. Now, I did not see this movie in theaters. And I don't know why, because I actually was the opposite with the first one. I loved the first one. I had to see it in theaters. I went and saw it opening day, and I loved it. This one came out. I don't know if it was because we were still peak COVID that I didn't rush to go to the theater to see it. I was excited for it. The trailers didn't do much for me, though. And I watched it when it came out on Paramount Plus, and my lord, I like this better than the first movie. I think that the stakes are higher. I think that the effects are better. I think that there's just some genuinely tense, awesome, suspenseful things that these two movies do that I feel like a lot of modern horror just cannot match. And I just really enjoyed this movie quite a bit. It really made me look forward to a third part. I know the next part is supposed to be like a spinoff set in the same world before a third part. I don't know how I feel about that, but really enjoyed A Quiet Place Part 2. Still super irresponsible to have a baby in the middle of that. But whatever, A Quiet Place Part 2 comes in. Coming in at number 8 is going to be Spiral from the Book of Saw. Now, this movie was weird for me because anytime it is a Saw movie, I'm excited for it. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm also terrified. Thank you, Jigsaw. Anyway, and I was excited for Spiral from the Book of Saw. I got more and more excited as we got up to it. The trailers were kind of iffy for me, but I was still excited for the movie nonetheless. I saw it in theaters and I walked out. I feel like I was a little confused. Maybe I was a little let down. I did enjoy it. My initial reactions after having seen the film were, I liked it. And then I actually just watched it 2 or 3 nights ago again at home on Hulu. And I actually enjoyed it a lot more the second time. I think if you watch Spiral from the Book of Saw, especially on your first watch, there is a lot going on. It kind of unfolds at a breakneck pace. It's shot that way too. It's very cutty. It's very choppy, in your face. And it's hard to kind of grasp everything the first time you watch it. The second time I watched it, like I said, I really enjoyed it. I thought it really expanded the world of the Saw films quite well. Unfortunately, it didn't do very well at the box office or critically, so I don't know if we're ever going to get a Spiral 2, but that's fine, because I'd much rather see a sequel to the original timeline of the Saw films, bring back Tobin Bell and flashbacks and everything. I would much rather have that, but I will say, I really did enjoy Spiral from the Book of Saw. I was surprised with how much I liked it. Some of the gore, some of the traps, absolutely fantastic. So Spiral from the Book of Saw comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is going to be The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And I would love to have ranked this film higher. I would have loved to have put this film at number 1, but it does pale in comparison to The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. Having said that, still, the bar is set so high, of course, with those first 2 movies, that it's hard to live up to that. It does not live up to it, but I think The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is still a top-tier supernatural horror film in the modern era. Michael Chavez's directing is definitely different than James Wan's. You don't get the same touch and feel that you would with a James Wan film. But there are some effective scares, there's some effective tension, but at the end of the day, I think it's the best Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson performance together in the series. I think that they carry this entire movie. The guy who played Arnie, I thought he did great. I think there is some really, really cool imagery in this movie, and I like how it was taken out of your haunted house setting and more into this kind of mystery thriller. I really did enjoy that. It was a nice breath of fresh air for the Conjuring universe and mainline franchise. So The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, this movie I was very, very excited for because I loved Venom when I saw it in theaters. Absolutely loved it. Could not wait. Again, you guys know me. I'm not a huge, superhero, comic book guy, but I love Spider-Man. I love Batman, and Venom is a part of Spider-Man, just like Joker is a part of, Batman. So I love those characters. Loved Venom. Saw this opening night in Hawaii, might I add. I was on my honeymoon. I said, I still have to go see Venom opening night and support the film. And I'll tell you what, I really, really, really enjoyed Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I don't know right now if I'd say I'd put it above Venom. I really don't. I'd have to watch it again. I've only seen it the one time. But I thought that you've just got a great, great lead in this film with Tom Hardy. I mean, he's just fantastic as Eddie Brock / Venom. There's a lot of funny moments. There's a lot of great bromance moments between the two of them. There are emotional stakes there. There is a lot to the characters themselves. And I just think that overall, the movie knew what it was, which was a, big budget, flashy, breakneck pace action movie. And it delivered on that in spades. It sets up the world nicely, too, at the very end in the post-credits scene. Or mid-credit scene, I guess I should say. That is a nice tease for some MCU fans, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So I really enjoyed Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and I think it's going to land at number 6 on my list. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong. I was amped for this movie. This was the first time I had been to the theater in a year and a half. I had not been to the theater in that long, and I returned for Godzilla vs. Kong because I said this movie has to be seen on the big screen. So I got my mask and my Purell, and I was like, we're doing it. And I'm so glad I did because it did deserve to be seen on the big screen. This movie is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. It looks great. It sounds great. It is more about the monsters and less about the humans, which is a common complaint you get with the MonsterVerse films. I don't need more human stuff. I need more monster stuff. This movie delivers on that, definitely. I think the action in this movie is just top notch. I think that granted, we all know how these work with these versus movies. It's A versus B until C comes in and they have to team up together. I loved that, and I loved the way it was handled. I think that the stakes were very high, and you could tell just for humanity in general. And I really, really enjoyed the movie. I think it's my second favorite MonsterVerse film right after Godzilla King of the Monsters. I really, really enjoyed Godzilla vs. Kong, and that's going to come in at number 4. No, number 5. I Need to Go to Sleep. Coming in at number 4 is going to be James Wan's return to horror with Malignant. Wow, what a divisive movie this was. So many people thought they knew what they were getting. The trailers made this look like a supernatural type slasher. It was really weird. You had no idea. The posters made you think, oh, supernatural. This is weird. You know, it's different. This is interesting looking. It's very James Wan-esque. Then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, it's basically like a straight up slasher action movie. Yes, it is. And I love it. I loved Malignant. I thought it was everything I never expected and everything I could have ever wanted. James Wan played in a different sandbox with this movie, and he is great at what he does, but it was so nice to see him do something different because it shows his range as a filmmaker that he can do another subgenre of horror and knock it out of the park. And he did that with Malignant. He absolutely did that. And the reveal, the twist reveal, when it happens, was not expecting it, and the body horror in that moment is grotesque. I absolutely loved it. I think the movie is just awesome. I think it is badass. I think that Malignant is truly a movie that deserved far more attention than it got and far less hate than it gets from people that were expecting your typical James Wan film. I went in expecting that, but I was open to whatever, and I walked away so happy with what I got. So number 4 is going to be James Wan's Malignant. So, top 3. This won't be controversial, will it? Number 3 is Halloween Kills. Now, actually, some of you guys might be surprised about this because knowing me as the Halloween guy, you would think I'm putting Halloween Kills at number 1, right? Oh my God, you know, it's Michael Myers on the big screen. He's going to put it at number 1. No, there were 2 better films than Halloween Kills, in my opinion. And this is not about quality, guys. This is about level of enjoyment for me. And even then, Halloween Kills only comes in at number 3. I really, really enjoyed Halloween Kills. It's no secret. I've talked about it ad nauseum on the channel. I thought it was a movie that knew what it was. It had fun with what it was. It was a top-notch gore fest slasher. A complete, just a ride, man. A ride. I guess that's how you can put it. I loved seeing some of the OG characters coming back. I really enjoyed the movie. I do have my issues with the movie, but those aside, I didn't walk out of Halloween Kills the way I walked out of the next 2 movies that I'm about to talk about. I really, really, really like Halloween Kills, but I am not gobsmacked in love with Halloween Kills. Having said that, though, it ranks in at number 3 on my top 10 list. So coming in at number 3 is going to be Halloween Kills. So coming in the runner-up spot, number 2 is a movie that I am so glad I can put at number 2, and that is Candyman. I loved Candyman. I loved everything about Candyman. It was going to be number 1 until about a few weeks ago when another movie came out. But my goodness, Candyman was brilliant. I love how they weaved the old story into a completely new story without even having to rely on that source material. They were very respectful with it. They incorporated it, but you did not feel like this was a film that needed the first film to exist entirely. I mean, it does for the story purposes, but I mean, like, this movie really stands on its own. It really doesn't feel like, oh, here's Tony Todd every 5 seconds to give you a reason to watch this movie. No, I thought that Yaha Abdul-Mateen was fantastic in the movie. It was nice to see Vanessa Williams back. In the one scene we got her, she was brilliant. I thought that the gore was top-notch. I thought that there were some genuinely frightening scenes, especially the whole art museum exhibit scene. That thing was intense. Loved that scene. The body horror in this movie is disgusting. Flat out disgusting. And it's hard to watch sometimes, but my God, is it done beautifully. The score is great. The cinematography is beautiful. And the ending, just as a fan, it just puts you in your feels and it makes you so happy. And I'm just saying, guys, Candyman was truly quite the surprise because I enjoy Farewell to the Flesh enough to where I can watch it. Day of the Dead is absolutely awful. And so I didn't really know what I was going to get with this movie. I was optimistic, and I am so glad I loved this movie because this movie tells a beautifully relevant story. And I absolutely loved it. So number 2 is Candyman. And coming in at number 1, the top spot, gold. The gold medal, the first prize, the ribbon, goes to No Time to Die. I have been waiting for this movie for years. Since it was announced they were making it, since it was announced Daniel Craig was coming back, since it got delayed, because of, well, it filmed and then got delayed over and over. Actually, no, wait, I am right. I don't need to correct myself. It got delayed because Daniel Craig got hurt. Then it picked back up. Then it was ready to go, and COVID delayed this movie damn near 2 years. And I have been waiting for it for so long. Daniel Craig is my James Bond. I knew it was his last one. It's very bittersweet, but I wanted to see how they were going to go out with him in this movie. And my God, No Time to Die was absolutely brilliant. From the story to the acting, Daniel Craig probably gives his best performance as James Bond in this movie. And I wholeheartedly believe that, that this is his best performance. The ending is just heartbreaking. I was devastated walking out of the movie theater. It really did something to me emotionally. This movie was just incredible. Rami Malek does great as the villain, Safin. I really think that Léa Seydoux, who plays Madeline Swan, does great in this movie. Everybody has a role to play in this movie that is pertinent to the story, to James Bond's growth, to where he's at, to where the world is at. And the stakes in this movie, I mean, they can't get much higher. It's literally like, it's actually very on par with almost like a pandemic in a sense, which is crazy because this wasn't happening when they wrote it. It is just absolutely, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's spectacle. It's incredibly acted. It's incredibly shot. It is just sad and also hopeful and just so badass and so sad again. It's just everything I could have wanted. No Time to Die was it was fantastic. I could go on and on about this movie. If you guys have not seen it, even if you're just casual fans of the Bond movies, check out No Time to Die. It is truly a fantastic movie. So No Time to Die is going to take the top spot for 2021. So that is my top 10 movies of 2021 up to this point. Like I said, there's only one movie that I have not seen that has not been released yet that I think is going to slide into this list, and that's Spider-Man No Way Home. But until it does, guess what? This is the list. I wanted to get this out. It was something that I had put up on Letterboxd a week or so ago, and I thought, let's do a video, let's talk about it. I had some people tell me that they wanted to see a Star Wars ranking, and then the poll I created was more votes for yes than no, but still, it seems like there's a decent amount of people that don't want to see me do that. Guys, November's a weird month because November is a lot of, you're right in between Halloween and Christmas. There's not a ton of horror content that you can really do seasonally for November. Regardless, if I decide to do stuff like that because I am just a movie fan first, you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. I hope you do. I do plan on doing that Star Wars ranking. But that's going to be it for me tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like right there. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's right there. And this is Nick of the Lost River Drive-In, and I am pulling out.